Hi everyone. In this video tutorial, I just show you all the necessary techniques you need to create your assignment 2 and the final project. So I will do it as quickly as possible, and if it is too fast, you can just pause or move your scroll bar. So now let's start. The first thing, let's create start Excel. And then we create a blank workbook and save it as XLSM and change the name to VBA Demo. And okay, so I'm not sure why it takes so long. Okay, and now let's get into the VBA environment, and then insert a module. Okay, and create sub called demo, right? And the first thing is define a connection object, set connection to create object with the ODB dot connection. Okay, now we have a connection object, and then now we need to define a connection string. Okay, and the connection string should equal to first the provider equals to SQLOLEDB, and the data source equals to, and I should put my server name because I want to connect to my own server, my own SQL Express server, because I'm using my own laptop, so I should input the name here and the regions and 40B6. And then it'll be SQL Express. That is my server. And then it'll be my initial catalog. This is database, and my database name will be BigPVFC. And my user ID equals to okay, I just set it to BTMA 19249. And the password, user ID, there should be a space here. So password equals to BTMA 2019. So, and after checking everything, okay, looks everything is correct, then we open the connection. Okay, let's check it. Okay, it seems it is connected, so nothing's wrong. So let's continue. And the next thing is we need to define our SQL. Okay, and the SQL equals to our query select star from customer T and we want to add a search condition where customer name like, and we use fuzzy search, right? And so we join this with our keyword, and so okay, that'll be our query, and the keyword now is not defined, and so we have to replace the keyword with replace keyword with the text box, right? So that's what we're gonna do. And so now we need to create a user form. Under anywhere within the project, we insert user form. So now we see the user form 1, and we add a label and text box and the button. So the controls in the toolbox may look a little bit different than the ones you seen in the lab computers because we use different versions, and that is okay. I believe you should be able to figure out which one is which. So, and now we need to change the captions of the user form. So it is search customer. Okay. So notice it's the caption, it's not the name. The name is still user1. We just change it to caption. And for the label, we change it to keyword, maybe. And we want to put the keyword here. And the customer command button, we change it to search. Okay. So because we want to run the query after we click this button, so we double click the button and we'll see, okay, we'll see this subroutine, and you can see this subroutine in the context of command button 1 and click. So this will be run when the button 1 is clicked. So and then click call subroutine. What is the name of our subroutine? So it's called demo, right? So we should call demo. Okay. So we call this routine. And let's get back to this demo. And so now we already have text box 1 here. So now in this keyword, we replace it with the user form 1 text box 1. Okay, so and we do not need this anymore. Text box 1 dot text. Okay, so now if you input some value and click search, and this value will be passed into here. So if you put a breakpoint here, and if you run the program from this user form, you can see the keyword. If you put anything, if you click search, okay, you can see the program stopped here, and if you check the query, and you will see the keyword is already added into this query. So you can see between the 2% symbols, and there is the keyword. You just input it. So okay, So let's continue. Now we have our query. Remove this breakpoint. Now we have our query. We want to create, generate the record set by running this query. So we define record set as object, and record, we set this record set to be equal to connection object execute the SQL. Okay, now we have the record set. And so the next thing we need to do is we want to display this record set onto our worksheet. So we first define row number and as integer, and we set this R to be 2. So we want to display our result from the second row. So the first row can be the column name, and here we need a do while loop. We run this loop when the record set EOF end of file is not true. So okay, we want this loop to run when the cursor is not at the end of the record set, right? So okay, so we want to write each column in the record set to each column in the worksheet, and we do it by worksheet one dot cell R1 equals to record set dot field customer ID. Okay, so the column customer ID now is sent to the first column in the second row, right? And we do that for the other columns in the result. And it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have customer name, customer address, customer city, customer state, and the customer postal code. Okay, and after that we wanted the record set to move next, and we wanted the row number to increase by 1. So after the current loop, we want to write the next row to the third row in the worksheet. So that is everything. And after that, we want to, at the end, we want to close the connection. Okay, so let's run it and see what's happening. So let's run from here, and we input furniture. We see all the customers with furniture in their name, right? So yeah, so that's what we have right now. And so now if you see the now if you look at if you look at our results, we see that we don't have the column name. So the next thing we want to add the column name. So let's just copy this. So we want to write the column name in the first row, and equals to customer ID. So that will be just a string, customer ID. We want to copy and paste this. Customer ID, name, address, and city, and state, and postal code. Okay. Now here is what we got, and if we run from here, we go back to the sheet, and oh, okay. So you see, it's not displayed normally because we write everything in the first column. So we should change the column to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then now if we run it, we see okay, everything is normal. And in order to make it looks better, we boldface the first row, okay, and then we want to adjust the column width to auto-fit the content. So here we add something called worksheet 1 dot columns dot auto-fit. And at the beginning, because before we want to display new result, we want to remove what we have added before. So we want to remove the content before we add new content. So what we want to do is worksheets 1 dot cell dot clear content. Okay. So if we run it, we will see our results. That's what it's like if you run it now. So you can see it looks much better. And then now we just add a button. So in developer, we insert a button here. So we choose a form control here. Add a button, and we want to create a new macro button. One click. We click new. So this new sub will be run once the button 1 in the worksheet is clicked. So, and when this button is clicked, we want the user form 1 to show. So user form 1 show. Okay, so that is everything we need to realize this function. And so we click fur. We have also customers with a furniture FUR in the name, and if we click ABC, then we see this ABC customer. Right, so that is what we need for the first part, and so now it's the second thing. And the second thing we want to do here, we want to generate a new form, and we want to add a combo box. And when this user form is loaded, we want all the customer IDs or the customers in the database are loaded to the combo box. So yeah, so let's just insert the user form 2, and in this user form we add a combo box, and we also add a text box. Let's add a button here, right? And above this combo box, let's uh, add a label, and here another label. Okay, so here do let's change the caption of the label to customer ID, and the caption of the second label to be customer name. Okay, so this button, actually for this test we do not need this button, so let's just remove it. Okay, we don't need it, so in this demo we do not want to show it. And now we want to do is you know, what at the time when this user form is created, then we want this combo box to be loaded with the customer ID of all the customers in the database. So that means we want to add those IDs at the time when this user form is created. So if you double click this user form, and now you can see user form click, and that is so if you write code here, this code will be run when you click this user form. So that's not what we want. So now we want to change the event to initialize. And if you put code here, then this code will run at the time when this user form is initialized. So that's what we want. And we remove the first part. So, so and okay. So now let's call a subroutine which called fill combo box, and so that's a subroutine we want to create now. And in this subroutine we fill the combo box, right? And let's go back to module 1. So we create subroutine fill combo box. Okay, and so in order to load the customer IDs of all the customers in the database, we need to have a record set that has the customer IDs of all the customers. So in order to do that, we can just simply copy and paste the first part. Okay, and here we do not need the worksheet cells clear content. We do not need to clear the content, so just remove that. So okay, so this is as a routine, and we need when we try to create record set, so we do not change anything except for the SQL. And here we want the customer ID, select customer ID from customer T. We want all the customers, so we do not need the other part. So from this query we get the customer IDs of all the customers in this table, and then we get record set. So now we have the loop do while not record set end of file loop. Okay, within this loop we added the customer ID to the combo box one by one. So user form 2 dot combo box 1 dot add item. So using this method, we add the customer IDs to combo box one, and each time we only add one. So it's record set dot field, and here we have customer ID, right? So that's the column, the only column we have in our record set here. And now we want the record set to move next. And after we done that, we close the connection. Okay, so that is everything. And now if you run from user form 2, you see everything is loaded, right? So that's what we want. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is if we choose any value from the combo box, we want this customer name to populate into this text box. And so we want this happen when we change the value in the combo box. So that's an event that will be, this code will be enclosed in the event of value change in combo box one. So if you double click the combo box one, then you will have this event. And we call it pub customer name, right? So, and this subroutine, we're gonna create it, and it will run when the value of combo box one changed, right? So now we create this routine, subroutine, the sub and pub customer name, right? That's what we want, and it's the same thing. We want to copy and paste the first part. Okay. Okay, so now what we do, and we need to change this one, right? We in this new record set, we want to include the customer name of the customer with the customer ID as in the combo box, right? So it'll be the customer name from customer T, where customer ID equals to equals to what? Equals to user form 2 dot combo box 1 dot text, right? And so that's what we need. And what else? So now we have record set, and now we want the user form 2 dot text box 1 equals to the record set field customer name. Okay, so that is what you have, what we need, and at the end we close the connection. Okay, now if you run from the user form 2, you have the user form with the user ID loaded. If you choose one, then the customer name populated to the text box. So now everything's set. Okay, and the last thing, if you want to attach this user form to a button, you insert another button and the button to click. So, okay. Oh, you do not click OK. So I forgot that. You never click OK. You click new, right? You do not click OK. You click new. So after that, you will have a new event created, right? So now after click this button, you want user form 2 to show. And so that is everything. And now if you come back and click this button, use form 2 shows, right? As alt function. And if you click the first button and so the other function comes, right? So it's not, it doesn't look good, but it has alt functions, and that's so from this demo, you have all the necessary techniques you may need for final project and for the assignment too. And but for the final project, if you want to have a full mark, a really good mark, you need to add some extra controls to have some new designs, and you need to do some googling. Uh, it need extra effort, but it's not that difficult. And so, uh, thank you.